Pod Me If You Can is brought to you by The Glove by Australian author David Farrell. Head to facebook.com/theglovebook for more information.
Welcome to Pod Me If You Can. I'm David Farrell. Today on the show, it is the 2002 film Mother Ghost, which features Kevin Pollak, Dana Delaney, and James Franco.
Pod Me If You Can. Movie reviews.
Keith Bennett, Mark Thompson, hasn't been himself since his mother passed away a year ago. His wife Karen, Dana Delaney, isn't happy with his behaviour, which has included drinking since her death. He winds up on the phone with a popular radio psychiatrist, Kevin Pollak, who helps him talk through his issues. So the star of this film is Mark Thompson, who actually wrote the film as well. It seems like they shot it on weekends and it was a real passion project for him. Mark's background is that he's one half of a morning radio show in Los Angeles called Mark and Brian, and it sounds like he had this idea that he obviously wanted to incorporate radio into. Mother Ghost implies a supernatural element to the film. He finds his mother's jewellery, the same jewellery she was buried in, on his sink, and he keeps seeing his mother and then blinking and she vanishes. The film deals with loss, grieving, the fact that a year after her death, he still hasn't sort of forgiven himself, his father. He's got a lot to talk about, but he hasn't realised it. He's been suppressing these emotions. Kevin Pollak is a successful podcaster and actor, and he does fine here because it feels like he's had that radio show in his mind. You know, he has been podcasting for a time, and he's used to that kind of back and forth. This feels like a vanity project for Mark Thompson, the lead actor, and he's wearing this kind of smug turtleneck, he's smoking, he's drinking, he's wandering around loving the sound of his own voice, and I found him to be quite grating. The bits where he's trying to be funny feel very forced and overwritten, and then the bits where he's in a cemetery and he says, "Morning," that feels unintentionally funny to me. This show relies on some very convenient storytelling as well. For example, when he's pouring his heart out on the radio, his estranged father, or emotionally estranged father, and his wife, who he's having issues with, are both listening by the radio. Kevin Pollak's psychiatrist asks him if he has any issues, to which he says, "Nope, totally fine," and then a few minutes later is confessing that his wife thinks he's losing his mind, and that he's having problems and heading for divorce. You can forgive the film's cheap digital look, but what's not forgivable is his voiceover at the start. It's very ordinary. And then, about an hour into the film, we also get a voiceover from Kevin Pollak's character. Just these two voiceovers to help establish the characters. If you can't establish these characters in the writing, it was frustrating to suddenly have a second voiceover in this film. It felt like there was a scene missing at the start where he comes home drunk and disorderly and his wife says this is the final straw. Instead, he just looks distant in the kitchen, and then his wife gets really upset and kind of overplays it. But without a scene before that, it seems really out of place. We haven't really established this emotional rut he's been in yet, and it feels out of the blue. There's two ways you can look at the emotional climax of the film. There's going to be the inevitable breakdown, where they have that gotcha moment and characters cry. Lots of characters cry, in fact, and then some of them call their parents right away afterwards. You can look at it as moving or cheesy. That's up to you. For me, what didn't work about it is that we got to it too easily. It's not like Phone Booth, where this is a life or death situation. Someone's pointing a gun at you and making you look at your life. This all happened in like a 15-minute therapy session. The reason that Good Will Hunting works for me is that we build to it. We build to that it's not your fault moment, where Will Hunting finally breaks with Robin Williams' therapist. Here, it feels like we get to it too easily, and it didn't feel as authentic for me. Joe Mantegna has a cameo as a friend at the beginning of the film. James Franco has a strange cameo as skateboarder guy on IMDb, but he's Mark in the credits. He has a quick monologue about his dog. Director Gary Marshall has a role as the cranky old man sitting with the father. Mark Pellegrino, who's Jacob from Lost, was a waiter. There was also a scene missing at the end of this film for me. The wife and the husband are having issues. He leaves the house and there's an ultimatum on the table. Then at the end of the film, he never goes home, sees that his wife has been listening all along, or she doesn't hug him and say, "We're going to work this out." There is no moment where they look like they're heading towards fixing their relationship. He doesn't go back home at the end of the film, which felt like a real missed opportunity for some emotion. I found the emotion of this film rushed. I didn't attach myself to the lead actor, played by Mark Thompson. He came off as kind of a tool for me. Some people love this film. It's got a whole bunch of glorious reviews on Amazon and IMDb, except a lot of those reviews address Mark Thompson directly, and it feels like they were written by friends. While I praise the independent filmmaking nature of this, shooting on weekends, and the resourcefulness of getting some of these actors to appear in the film, ultimately it's kind of forgettable and a little bit rushed in the emotional stakes for me.
Thanks for watching. If you like what you see, please hit the subscribe button. Like us on Facebook and follow us on Twitter. Check out our podcast at www.podmeifyoucan.com.